Again, Merry Christmas, and thank you for being here this morning as we come together as a family here at St. Catherine of Sweden to celebrate this Holy Mass, to celebrate this Eucharist together. And as a family this morning, we welcome any visitors, any friends, any guests that might be joining us here this morning. As we come together on this Feast of Epiphany, there is a beautiful opera that made its debut on December 24th, 1951. And the name of that opera was Amal and the Night Visitors. And the whole storyline of the opera told about a young boy, the age 10, who ended up having to be the sole provider for his mom. He had to take care of his mom and make sure that they had a warm place to stay, that they had food on the table, and that they had clothes on their back. And Amal did this in a powerful way until an accident would happen, an accident that would cripple him for the rest of his life. And the only way that he could walk around was to use a big, heavy crutch. And that was the only way that he could support himself. And he and his mom worried on how they were going to survive now because he could no longer be that provider. And one night, on a cold winter's night, a knock came to their door. And when his mom went to the door, she was surprised to see the three wise men there at the door. And they said that they were following the star. They were searching out for this Messiah, this Christ child, and they could not go any further. They needed a warm place to stay, and they needed some food. And they asked Amal and his mom if they could come in and stay. So they allowed them. And these visitors, these mysterious men, came into their home that night, and they told them about what they were doing, how they were following that star to find this Messiah, the Christ child. And it got Amal and his mom so excited. And as they went to sleep that night, that's all Amal could think about. Well, how these wise men were taking their gifts to the Christ child. And he thought all night, what kind of gift could I give? What kind of gift could I give? And in the morning, as they had breakfast with the wise men, and as they were ready to leave, Amal asked his mom if there was something that they could give the wise men to take to this Christ child, to the Messiah. And his mom said they did not have anything, any type of gift that they could share. And Amal sat there thinking and thinking and thinking. And he said to his mom, "Mom, I know what I can give. I know what I can give. I know what I can give." And she said, "What is that, my child?" And he said, "I will give the Christ child my crutch because it means the most to me. I depend on it for all that I do." And with that, Amal handed his crutch to those wise men. My dear family, as we gather here in our holy church this morning, it's all about the Feast of Epiphany, about the gifts that the wise men brought to that Christ child. The gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They gave the best that they had to that Christ child. And we hear how their lives were transformed. We're told in a very powerful way that King Herod heard what these magi were up to, that they heard about this newborn king of the Jews, and they told the king, "We saw his star at its rising, and we have come to do him homage." And King Herod was thinking about this, and he knew who the Christ child was, and he said to the wise men, "Will you go and find out where he is, and then come back and tell me, so that I too can go and do him homage?" Well, we all know why he wanted to know, because he wanted the Christ child killed, because he thought that he was a threat to his own kingdom. Now, don't you think if we knew about this king that was coming into town, that had so much to offer, wouldn't you want to go there yourself? Why would you send someone else in front of you? If you heard that they were going, I'd call them up and say, "Hey, can I ride in the back seat and ride with you? I want to see this for myself. I want to see it firsthand." But it shows the evil that was in Herod's heart as he sent them alone. And we're told in a powerful way how they followed that star. They were overjoyed at seeing the star, and on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother. They prostrated themselves and they did him homage. Now that's the key. They prostrated themselves and they did him homage. That meant that they laid completely on the ground. They completely humbled themselves. And by doing that, these three men's lives were completely changed. They were completely changed and they never would be the same. And that's signified by what happens at the end of today's gospel. We're told by Matthew, and having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed for their country by another way. Their lives were completely changed. Their journey was completely different than what they ever thought. My dear family, that's going to happen to all of us. Anyone who follows Christ has to follow how he leads. And oftentimes that means we're going to go a different way than we think, but we're going to go the way that he wants, as long as we keep our focus on that star. Our beautiful reading that we heard from the letter of St. Paul to the Ephesians, St. Paul tells us that we have to do this for a very important reason. In the letter of St. Paul, we're told, "You have heard the stewardship of God's grace that was given to me for your benefit." That was given to me for your benefit. You see, we have to share the good news. We have to share it with those around us. And that's what St. Paul recognized. He became a star for others. He was allowing God's grace to shine out through him for the benefit of others. Then if we look back to the very first reading that we heard today, the book of the prophet Isaiah. In the prophet Isaiah, it's a powerful, powerful reading that I draw your attention to today. In it, the prophet Isaiah says, "See, darkness covers the earth, and thick clouds cover the peoples." Darkness covers the earth, and thick clouds cover the peoples. But upon you the Lord shines, and over you appears his glory. Isn't that powerful? And he's saying that to all of us. Upon you the Lord shines, and over you appears his glory. That should give all of us great joy this morning. Upon you the Lord shines, and over you appears his glory. Nations shall walk by your light, and kings by your radiance. We're called to be a star. We're called to be that bright light. Amazing thing happened to me this week. Thursday morning, our men's Bible group meets here at 6 o'clock in the morning. And Thursday morning, I chose to walk over to church. And as I walked through the woods and I came out into the field, I saw an amazing thing as I come into the open field. There was this amazing bright light shining brightly into the sky. And my eye was taken to that. I was amazed, and I kept wondering, what is it? What is it? What is it? And I kept watching that light as I come through the field. And later on, I realized, different people told me, that it was Wildwood Highlands, that they were making snow, and the snow guns or whatever, the snow machine has lights on it, and with the combination of the snow flying in the air and that light, there was this incredible bright light shining in the sky, and it just drew me in. But then something else amazing happened as I crossed over Vitula Road, and as I stepped into our driveway, all the parking lot lights clicked on right at that same moment. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. Something's happening today. And as I continued my journey across the parking lot, I saw our beautiful church. And as you enter the church, I saw our beautiful narthex with the beautiful manger scene lit in such a peaceful beauty. And then as I came into our holy church, here our tabernacle was lit so proudly, just proclaiming that Christ was truly present. My dear family, as we gather here today, we're called to be that bright light in a world that is covered with darkness, a thick cloud that covers the people, and we're called to be that bright light. I'm going to ruin the end of that opera for you. I apologize. Amal and the Night Visitors, it has an amazing end. The opera tells us that as Amal gave his crutch to those wise men, something amazing happened to this young boy. He was completely healed. His leg was restored to full health, and he no longer needed that crutch. He gave his best gift, his prized possession, and he was healed. The wise men gave their best gift, the gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh, and their lives were completely healed and changed. My dear family, as we gather around this holy altar this morning, God gives us his best gift. He gives us the best gift of his Son in the Eucharist, his body and blood, his soul and divinity. And as we receive him this morning, he's asking each of us to do the same, to give our best gift, and watch how our lives will be healed. Watch how our lives will be transformed. So as we gather today, as we receive him in the Eucharist, what kind of gift are you going to give? Are you going to hold back? Are you going to be selfish? Or are you going to give your best gift? If you do, he promises that your life will be changed forever.